elves and the shoemaker. There once was a shoemaker who worked very hard and was very honest, but still he could not earn enough to live upon. And at last, all he had in this world was gone, save just leather enough to make one pair of shoes. Then he cut his leather out, all ready to make up the next day, meaning to rise early in the morning to do his work. His conscience was clear, and his heart was light amidst all of his troubles. So he went away peaceably to bed, and left all his cares to heaven, and soon fell asleep. In the morning, after he had said his prayers, he sat himself down to do his work, when to his great wonder there stood the shoes already made upon the table. The good man knew not what to say or what to think at such an odd thing happening. He looked at the workmanship. There was not one false stitch in the whole job. All was so neat and true, and the shoes were quite a masterpiece. The same day, a customer came in. The shoes suited him so well that he willingly paid a price higher than usual for them. The poor shoemaker, with the money, bought leather enough to make 2 pairs more. In the evening, he cut out the work and went to bed early, that he might get up and begin early the next day. But he was saved all the trouble, for when he got up in the morning, the work was done, ready to his hand. Soon in came buyers who paid him handsomely for his goods, so much so that he bought leather enough for 4 pair more. He cut out the work again, and then overnight found it done in the morning, as before. And so it went on for some time. What was gotten ready in the evening was always done by daybreak, and the good cobbler soon thrived and became well off again. One evening, about Christmas time, as the cobbler and his wife were sitting over the fire, chatting together, he said to her,
"I should like to sit up and watch tonight, that we may see who it is that comes and does my work for me."
The wife liked the thought, and so they left the light burning and hid themselves in the corner of a room, behind a curtain that was hung up there, and watched what would happen. As soon as it was midnight, there came in 2 little naked elves, and they sat themselves upon the shoemaker's bench, took up all the work that was cut out, and began to play with their fingers, stitching and wrapping and tapping away at such a rate that the shoemaker was all a wonder and could not take his eyes off of them. And on they went until the job was quite done and the shoes stood ready for use upon the table. This was long before daybreak, and then they busted away as quick as lightning. The next day, the wife said to the shoemaker,
"These little elves have made us rich, and we ought to be thankful to them and do them a good turn if we can. I'm quite sorry to see them run about as they do, and indeed it's not very decent, for they have nothing on their backs to keep off the cold. I'll tell you what, I will make each of them a shirt, and a coat, and a waistcoat, and a pair of pantaloons into the bargain, and you make each of them a little pair of shoes."
The thought pleased the good cobbler so very much. One evening, when all the things were ready, the shoemaker and his wife laid out the gifts upon the table instead of work that they normally would cut out. And then they went and hid themselves to watch what the little elves would do. Right around midnight, in they came, dancing and skipping. They hopped around the room and then went to sit down to do their work as usual. But when they saw the clothesline for them, they laughed and chuckled and seemed mightily delighted. Then they dressed themselves in the twinkle of an eye and danced and capered and sprang about as merry as could be, till at last they danced out the door and away over the green. The good couple saw them no more, but everything went well for them from that time forward, as long as they lived. The end.